NYU is withholding a diploma or a degree from a student who gave a commencement speech there. Let's play the quick clip of this speech, and we'll get your guys' reaction after this.
That the only thing that is appropriate to say in this time and to a group this large is a recognition of the atrocities currently happening in Palestine. That the genocide currently occurring is supported politically and militarily by the United States. And I want to say that I condemn this genocide and complicity in this genocide.
So the university, whether or not you agree or disagree, and I would imagine most people watching the show probably disagree. Hey, maybe let's not support terrorist organizations. But whether or not you agree or disagree, the university said, hey, don't make political statements of your own philosophy or your own thoughts on this stage. William, the left is complaining about, well, what about free speech? It seems that they fail to recognize that free speech is a legal thing and not if you're in a private institution, you can't just say anything you want and expect no consequences. If I right now said, yeah, we should allow abortions up to 9 months and even 6 months after birth, as somebody said to Charlie Kirk on campus, I would imagine Charlie would have me fired before the end of the show. It's free speech, but obviously there are parameters within private institutions. What are your thoughts?
Really tough question, both from a legal and a political perspective. I think you could kind of go both ways on this. In some respects, the libertarian part of my attaching rights to duties, part of my political ideology, wants to say this is free speech. The other part of me wants to say private institutions really do have the right to curb free speech, and this was really not the place to make political statements. I think we need to start taking politics out of the colleges. I say that as the president of the college Republicans, but I think in this kind of situation, you need to reevaluate kind of timing and what needs to be said. The other truth is that we are pushing out a ton of woke individuals, and just listening to this kid for 15 seconds, it was just kind of painful listening to him talk. Maybe he really didn't deserve a college degree. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, like from a legal standpoint, yeah, nobody's pressing charges. There's no criminal investigation going on here. But the university said, hey, if you're going to give the commencement address, you got to stick to the preconceived the dialogue that we allow or want to have, and leave your political stuff out of this. Corey, I thought this was funny, and I'd like you to react to this. At the end of the New York Times article, the very, very last paragraph, it says this. Mr. Rosas identifies himself in a professional biography as an actor, artist, and gay black trans man, as well as an advocate for the LGBT.
No, when I was watching, like, I had seen this video, and when I was looking at it, I'm like, there's no way that this is actually a dude. Like, that was my first reaction to the video. I'm like, okay, this is clearly a woman posing as a man. It said, this guy named whatever his name, Logan, I believe that they said her name was. It's so confusing. But yeah, I think it's just very interesting, man. They said no political speeches. I mean, I think you should stick to that. I'm also curious to know, like, if it was a pro-Israel speech, would they have done the same thing? Would the diploma have been withheld? I'm curious to know that. Has this happened before?
Yeah, I would love to play all those experiments out, because I do think they probably would hold to their standards. Like, they leave the politics out of it. Talk about, like, yeah, what we're going to do in the future, and we are the new generation, and all the crap that you say at university graduation speeches. I would hope they would hold to that same standard. Speaking of people posing as things that they aren't, the last administration, there was a guy posing as a mentally competent human being in the White House. William, there's a Freedom of Information Act request filed by Judicial Watch that effectively proves the Biden administration legal team attempted to redact or take out or not mention any of the Biden mental incompetencies in the Robert Hur special counsel report. It seems that even people close to Biden himself and in the Biden White House were like, yeah, he can't really think. And this was months before he even dropped out of the race. What are your thoughts?
The interesting part about this story is that they were trying to suppress it by ordering them to make the report economical, which I really want a translation of. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I don't know if anybody does. Maybe you can help me understand it. This was an attempt by the deep state to cover up Joe Biden's incompetency, and it's a national security threat. I mean, this is really serious stuff. I mean, I as much as I want to be lighthearted on this show, I mean, this really isn't something to joke about. I'd love to see where this investigation goes, but first and foremost, I want a definition of the word economical.
Yeah, I was also reading that in the New York Post reporting of like, yeah, they wanted to make economical because if it wasn't economical, people might know that the president can't think anymore, which is odd. Corey, this is it seems to confirm what everybody already knew. And I think we've talked about Jake Tapper a little bit of writing a book of the revelations behind what people knew. Everybody knew, whether or not you were close to the president. Why is it that for some reason they thought they were pulling the rug over everyone?
I don't know, man. I definitely knew what was going on. You could see it. It was clear. Biden couldn't finish sentences. He had to continuously read off a teleprompter. He was getting lost on stage, right? And then that electronic signatures stuff came out, and it's like all of his signatures were electronic. Like, so this guy really didn't sign any of these things himself, and it's because he couldn't. And it was clear to anybody who was actually paying attention, anybody with eyes. Actually, a blind man could see that Joe Biden wasn't all there.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder could have seen that Joe Biden couldn't think.